Hello, what's up guys? Welcome back to 0 to 60 Motoring. I'm your presenter Bill. Now, today I'm not shooting a car review per se, but rather doing some analysis of the current market trends in the car industry. Now, the other week I was in the market for a Mazda 10, that's a Sedan petrol for a client, and then there is something that came up and somewhat shocked me. Now, if you bought a car in the last 6 months, you must have been shocked by the current market prices of cars. But then, yeah, that is how things are. Even cars, even prices for local used cars are actually on the rise. We used to get something like Mazda Resale last year for, and that is a 2010, 2011 for 750. Currently, you'll struggle to get a clean unit with that budget. Now, from moving from yard to yard, there is something that came up. I've also seen some posts about why buyers currently in the market are switching from Toyota, maybe to Nissan, to Mazda, to Suzuki. And then I think that one actually came out very clearly, because most of the yards I was into, they at least had Mazda brand, a Nissan brand, a Suzuki, the likes of Volvo, and even the German ones, that is the Volkswagen and Mercedes. So this video is actually an analysis of why currently buyers and dealers are actually preferring other brands apart from Toyota, especially taking what the current car buyer is into. Yeah, not all buyers, of course, but a majority of the buyers, and even taking statistics from people who normally message 0 to 60 Motoring asking for car advice. I've realized nowadays there are less queries regarding Toyota cars. Now, there is something that actually is pushing buyers away from Toyota cars. Number one is affordability and the pricing. Now, I was in the market for a Mazda 10, a petrol one, and we actually managed to get a unit at 1.9 million Kenyan shillings. That is a 2-liter petrol version. It was an ex-Singapore one with a leather upholstery, the electric seats, of course, and some good niceties you won't find in a Toyota of that year. So, in that market, when I was in the market, I came across a few units. That is I came across a Toyota Premio, which was being priced at 2.3 million shillings with around 100k kilometers on the odometer. So this was a 1500cc, the F variant, for those who know more about the Premium. So I was asking myself, if someone is asking 2.3 million shillings for a Toyota Premium and it's the base model, that is a 1.5 liter, she's asking 2.3 million shillings. And then there is on the other side there is a Mazda 10, even if it's a base model, of course, going at 1.9 million for a petrol version. Don't you see there is some disconnect with that pricing? Now, that one not only shocked me, but when I went to another yard, there was a 2016 Toyota Premio going for 2.7 million shillings. Now, we can say that the taxes for 2016 models are kind of higher than the 2015 ones, but that price difference makes some disconnect. For example, at 2.3 to 2.7 million Kenyan shillings, there are other options you can go for. Apart from the Mazda 10s I've said, which was for 1.9 million, I understand there are other units going for even 2.1, 2.2, depending on the specification. If you're going the diesel way, you can actually find a unit at 1.7 to 1.8 million shillings. And diesel units normally come with extra features, of course, than petrol ones, especially more features than the 2-liter petrol ones. Now, if you are in the market for a sedan and you're going to pay 2.3 to 2.7 million shillings, I think there are better options. For example, that Mazda 10, of course, you can also look at something like an Audi A4, because I find an Audi A4 way better than the Premium, especially when looking at what that car offers. You get more power, you get a good interior, and of course better driving dynamics on the road. Yeah, you can also look at a crossover, something like a Mitsubishi RVR. For example, if you're saying a 2-liter car may be maybe kind of thirsty, you can look at Mitsubishi RVR, that is a 1.8 liter, because to me it makes sense as at 2.3 million shillings over something like a Toyota Premium. Another alternative will be a Mercedes-Benz W204, that's a C200. You can get a local used one, especially a 2014 one, 2013 one, at something like a 2.4 million shillings actually. Yeah. So when looking at the competition of the Toyota Premium, you find cars like the Nissan Selfie, you find cars like the Toyota Allion, which of course is mechanically similar to the Premium. You find cars like the Mazda Xela Sedan, that is, and you realize that the Mazda Xela Sedan will be carrying a price tag of around 1.7 million shillings to 1.8, depending on the specs, of course. The Nissan Sylphy, on the other hand, will be going for 1.3 to 1.4 million. Yeah. If you want something that comes from the European region, you may look at the Volvo S60. That one will carry a bigger price tag because it's going for 2.3 to 2.5 million shillings. So, pitting the Toyota Premium against the likes of Mazda Xela, Mazda Tenza, Volvo S60, the Mercedes-Benz W204, you'll realize that those other cars have more value for money compared to the Premium. I understand that the Premium has built a very good reputation around reliability because it's a very simple car to live with, but the difference in pricing, especially from the difference in pricing doesn't justify that you should opt for a Premium, especially at 2.7 million shillings ahead of cars like the Atenza, the RVR, of course. And if any of you want to look even at the crossover family, you realize there are better options you can get there. Now, that's said and done. Another segment I think that other brands are outshining Toyota is the crossover family. Now, I like reviewing cars in the crossover family because the current market is actually inclined towards the cars that have a good ground clearance and of course some little bit of power. Now, there is this car which has been the best seller in the Kenyan market for the last 2-3 years. That is the Mazda CX-5. A diesel one currently is going for 2.2 million shillings to 2.5. That is for the high spec. A petrol one, 2.6 to 2.8 million. Now, a Toyota RAV4, which is in the same class, will be going for 3 million shillings. That's for the base model. And 3.5 to 3.7 for the fully loaded version. Already you see between a fully loaded Toyota RAV4 and a Mazda CX-5, there is like 1.3 million to 1.5 million Kenyan shillings a price difference. Now, you may also look at something like a Nissan X-Trail. Nissan X-Trail is going for 2.1 million to 2.5 million shillings. So, there is a big difference. If someone wants to upgrade from something like a hatchback or a sedan to a crossover, the pricing of the Toyota may shock you because there is nothing absolutely that makes a Toyota RAV4 a better car over something like a Mazda CX-5 petrol one, especially with a 900,000 or a 1 million Kenyan shilling price difference. Maybe yes, we may argue this on reliability because I understand diesel versions of the CX-5 tend to be a little bit problematic, especially for 2014 models and back, but petrol ones are absolutely problem free. So I don't think someone who really wants a crossover may find the pricing of the Toyota RAV4 realistic. Yeah, I think it is the reason why nowadays you won't find any newly registered Toyota RAV4s compared to the CX-5, compared to cars like the Nissan X-Trail, the Honda CR-V, the Mitsubishi Outlander, and other cars in the crossover family. For example, at 3.7 million shillings, you may even want to go the German way. You can actually get an Audi Q5 with a 3.7 million shillings or something. You may add something like 3,000 to 3.9 million shillings. This one is giving you a better car on the road, more power of course, because the Audi Q5 has a turbocharged petrol engine and a good interior, and actually everything about the Audi Q5 is way superior than the Toyota RAV4. Maybe something that may put you a little bit on the side, you may be debating about the reliability of the other cars versus the Toyota RAV4 because they are almost nil chances of getting a stalled RAV4 on the road compared to cars like the CX-5 and the German alternatives. But then, if you're on top of your game matters of maintenance, I don't think you may be, the price difference between a CX-5 petrol and Toyota RAV4, I don't think that price difference may, may make you settle for the Toyota RAV4. Yeah. So that is another class that Toyota is currently being outshined by other brands. Now, moving to the small cars, not small cars per se, but the hatchbacks, where the Toyota Auris plays alongside the VW Golf, the Subaru Impreza, the likes of Mazda Xela. In this class, the Mazda Xela used to be cheap, but currently it isn't the case anymore, because a Mazda Xela hatchback is going for 1.7 million shillings. That is the same price range for the Toyota Auris, but the Subaru Impreza hatchback is a little bit lower, going for 1.4 to 1.5 million shillings. Yeah. So in this case, you may see that the Toyota Auris may not be the favorite, especially if someone wants something that is more practical, because the Subaru Impreza is more practical than the Auris, matter space. The Volkswagen Golf is better than the Auris, especially in the interior crafting, driving dynamics. As for the mainstream buyer, I think Mazda, Nissan, and VW and other brands are currently outshining the Toyota, basically on the basis of cheaper pricing, and I think you get more value for money, because unless you're stepping up to the highest streams of for the Toyota cars, you're going to get a basic interior, a weaker engine, of course, compared to the alternatives, and then it with time will bore you, especially when you're settling for that car, especially if you are banking on reliability only, because cars like the Mazda Xela, they absolutely have no problem, especially for the petrol version. So it won't make sense basing your argument that you're preferring Toyota models, especially on reliability only. Maybe if you're looking at something different, but on the basis of reliability, I think other brands are also upping their game. So that's why Toyota at least is Toyota is losing their stronghold to the other brands. Now, there is another argument that may come in. Back in time, like 5 years ago, Toyota cars basically used to be easy to dispose in the market, something that people could confuse with high resale value. So I want us to do a little bit of mathematics. So if someone is buying a Toyota Premio currently at 2.3 to 2.7 million shillings, and then wants to dispose it in 2 years' time, do you think that car will give back like 1.5 million Kenyan shillings? The answer is a resounding no. If someone bought a Toyota Premio last year at 1.9 million or 2 million shillings and wants to dispose it currently, let's say something like a KDB, KDA, or KCZ, the car won't sell above 1.5 million shillings. Now, if someone bought something like a Mazda Tenza petrol last year at something like 1.6 million shillings, currently Mazda cars are actually have a high demand. You can actually get like 1.4 to 1.5 million shillings on that Mazda Tenza. So the argument about resale value, I find it somewhat a fallacy, and it doesn't hold water. So if only Toyota could price their cars fairly, at least they could step up well and compete with other brands well. But you see, Mazda is already designing products that are making the buyer to consider them, and Nissan are making cheap products. And then if someone wants to go the German way, you're getting more value for your money, especially on power and the interior crafting. I think Toyota somewhat is losing their clients, especially for the mainstream buyer and small cars, by overpricing their cars, giving you a basic interior, and then their cars may not be good, especially for someone who wants a little driving spice. So looking at the market at 2.7 million shillings, I don't think many people are going to consider the Premium or even the Twin, that is the Allion, because it's currently going for 1.9 million shillings. I've even seen cars going for 2 million shillings for the Toyota Allion. So at that price range, other brands are quickly outshining the Toyota brand. So that is an analysis I've been doing for the last few weeks, and I think if the status quo is maintained, Mazda, Nissan, and other brands are going to make a kill, especially in the small cars. For the bigger cars like the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, the Toyota Fortuner, the pickups, I think Toyota will still reign supreme, because if you are looking at the Mazda pickups, they are kind of compared to the Hilux and D-Max and something from the Nissan family. For the full size SUV, of course, there's nothing in that Toyota Prado family that is going to push it from being the class leader. Yeah. So for the mainstream buyer, Toyota is actually losing it. Yeah. So that's all about today's analysis. Let's meet in the next video. Yeah. So bye guys, until next time.